Power outages and grid collapses were recently attributed to the activities of vandals of power infrastructure, which begs the question, where's the NSCDC when these acts of vandalism happen? Well, they say they come under attack as well, and even recently killed 50 Boko Haram terrorists who attacked them on routine inspection of power infrastructure in Shiroro. Meanwhile, the arrest of vandals in the nation's capital continues with a new whistleblowing policy. And today, we try to find the update on the cases of vandalism charged to court. Also, what kind of year has the NSCDC had, and are there areas for improvement? All these and more this week on Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Magwa. Let's begin with a wrap-up of major stories from Nigeria's presidency this week on our Abuja Wrap.
President Bola Tinubu has arrived Abuja from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where he attended the G20 Leaders Summit. When he arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport around 10:20 p.m. on Saturday, the president and his wife were received by a delegation made up of the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, the APC National Chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, Governor Obasanjo of Kaduna State, and other top government officials. Aside from attending the G20 Leaders Summit, the president also held bilateral talks with the Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and presided over the signing of an agreement between the Nigerian government and JBS SA, a Brazilian company. Vice President Kashim Shettima is urging the adoption of technology-driven strategies to combat terrorism, cybercrime, and border security challenges facing Nigeria and the entire African continent. He made the call during a courtesy visit by members of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 17 from the National Institute for Security Studies at the Presidential Villa, Abuja.
I know Africa and Nigeria are going through some very turbulent times, especially in the security arena and in the economic front. And AI presents a vista of opportunities for us to address issues on agriculture, on healthcare, on financial inclusion, and on security issues. I'm an eternal optimist. I believe most of these things are doable. Africa is the youngest continent. The average age of the Nigerian nation is 16.9. And we have a pool of technologically savvy young men that we can harness.
Nigeria is demanding strengthened governance, transparency, and collaboration from leaders and industry players to harness Africa's resource wealth for sustainable development. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated the nation's position during the inaugural International Exhibition of Extractive and Energy Resources in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The Nigerian government also reaffirmed its commitment to creating an inclusive extractive industry anchored on the principles of transparency, regional partnerships, and local capacity building.
We are nations divided by a shared destiny. Each of us aware that the progress of one state ripples across the others. Nigeria stands here not just as a regional neighbor, but as a development partner, ready to share our lessons from managing a vast energy and extractive industry. The shifting geopolitical realities of our world have compelled us to look inward, review our industrial capacities, and maximize the potential of our mineral wealth. For a continent whose share of global manufacturing has declined from approximately 3% in the 1970s to less than 2% today, strengthening the industrial capacity of our nations remains the only road to certainty. On behalf of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the good people of Nigeria, I extend our goodwill and reaffirm our promise to collaborate and share insights in tackling our shared challenges.
President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) on the successful revitalization of the Port Harcourt Refinery, marked by the official commencement of petroleum product loading. With the successful revival of the refinery, President Tinubu urged the NNPC Limited to speed up the scheduled reactivation of both the second Port Harcourt Refinery and the Warri and Kaduna refineries. In the statement signed by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, The president acknowledged the pivotal role of the former President Muhammadu Buhari in initiating the comprehensive rehabilitation of all the refineries and expressed gratitude to the African Export-Import Bank for its confidence in financing this critical project. President Bola Tinubu, accompanied by the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, arrived in Paris for a 3-day state visit to fortify Nigeria-France relations. According to the statement by a presidential spokesman, the plane touched down at Orly Airport around 5:10 p.m. on Wednesday, and President Tinubu was welcomed with full military honors by the French Republican Guard, marking a ceremonial start to his visit. The official engagement began on Thursday at the historic Les Invalides, where French President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron warmly received President Tinubu and his entourage. The visit will continue with a distinguished reception to honor the Nigerian leader. The visit aims to enhance bilateral ties, focusing on key areas such as agriculture, security, education, health, youth engagement, innovation, and energy transition. The governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has emphasized the need for Nigerians to work towards earning more income to address the economic challenges being experienced. The governor, who won the recent Ondo governorship election, was speaking after he visited President Bola Tinubu in the State House, accompanied by his deputy, Owolabi Adelami, to present his certificate of return. According to him, the economic downturn did not negatively impact the party's fortunes in the elections, owing to the political awareness of the electorate in Ondo State.
Welcome back. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Federal Capital Territory Command, has successfully trained 135 personnel on basic arms and weapons handling. The training, they say, will help the command to fulfill the Corps' mandate of ensuring that the country's critical national assets and infrastructure are effectively protected from acts of vandalism. Our report looks at these acts of vandalism on Nigeria's power infrastructure and the challenges faced by the NSCDC in protecting them. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, is the lead agency charged with the protection of national assets. Its efficiency in doing this was called to question in recent times when the Minister of Power identified the vandalism of power installations in the Northwest as the reason behind the frequent national power grid collapses.
The world is moving. This is the 21st century, and we believe that the most effective way of supplying uninterrupted, functional, stable, and reliable electricity to the northern part of Nigeria is through our distributed power model, whereby each of the northern states will have an embedded utility solar scale solar source. All the 20 states will be insulated and immune from each other. Once we have, and we have actually made progress in this, as we have interested contractors and financiers that are ready to install 100 megawatts each for each of the 20 northern states, which is scalable to 50 megawatts at first, then upgraded to 100 megawatts. We are working on establishing what is called a super grid, which is a backup or failover optional grid. If the national grid has a problem, there will be an alternative route through which power can be transmitted. That is what we are working on. Then lastly is the fact that the world has moved beyond having a centralized grid. Grid must be regionalized. We must have state grids so that each of the regionalized grids will be insulated from each other. A problem in a particular line will not affect the others. That is what we are working on. Until that is done, we believe that we'll keep managing what we have and reduce the frequent occurrence of the grid disturbance.
Do these cases of vandalism occur by the presence of the NSCDC at these locations? Are they attacked by these vandals? And if they are, how equipped is the Corps to handle these attacks? On November 19th, 2024, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps monitoring team for the National Grid installation located in Shiro local government area of Niger State came under heavy attack by over 200 Boko Haram terrorists. A statement signed by the National Public Relations Officer of the Corps, CSC Babawale Afolabi, says the incident occurred at about 3:40 p.m. when the convoy of the Special Monitoring Squad, comprising of 9 officers and 71 other ranks drawn from the Commandant General's Special Intelligence Squad, operatives, FCT Command and Kaduna State Command, were ambushed in Farinkasa area of the Chukun local government area in Kaduna State on Monday, the 18th of November, while crossing the Shiruro axis after the surveillance and monitoring oversight of the installations. The attack was repelled and over 50 of the terrorists were killed in a crossfire. These attacks have not deterred the Corps from arresting infrastructure vandals. During the parade of suspected vandals who were arrested during a routine search exercise by officers of the Corps, the Federal Capital Territory Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Mr. Olushola Odumosu, issued a stern warning to vandals, emphasizing that the Corps will continue to pursue and bring all culprits to justice. This warning is coming after vandals attacked the 330 kV Lokoja-Gwagwalada transmission line. Meanwhile, the Corps has launched its whistleblowing policy and procedures, which aims at protecting whistleblowers and ensuring prompt, fair investigation. The Commandant General of the Corps, Mr. Ahmed Audi, who was represented by the Deputy Commandant General in charge of critical national assets and infrastructure, Mr. Mohammed Haruma, says the whistleblowing policy and procedure will, in the long term, contribute to public safety of human rights and create a secure and transparent environment while affirming the Corps' role as a key stakeholder in Nigeria's security architecture.
The whistleblowing policy complements these efforts by providing a structured platform for reporting corruption and ensuring accountability. Though through these measures, we aim to build a culture of integrity that permeates every level of the organization. To address the problem of corruption effectively, NSCDs has implemented a series of actions, including the induction of ACTU members to spearhead this initiative, the installation of reporting channels, and the protection of whistleblowers, and ensure the credibility of the process. Furthermore, the Corps is leveraging technology to ensure transparency and streamline process, thereby reducing opportunities for corrupt practice. The anticipated results of the whistleblowing policy are far-reaching. It will enhance the public confidence in the Corps, ensure swift resolution of complaints, and position the NSCDs as a model of transparency among security agencies in Nigeria and beyond. This aligns with our mandate under the Sinai Protection Policy to safeguard national assets, further reinforcing the Corps' reputation for excellence and reliability. In the short term, we anticipate awareness of ethical practices, improve internal accountability, and a reduction in corruption-related incidents. In the long term, the active whistleblowing policy will contribute to public safety, uphold human rights, and drive economic growth by enforcing a secure and transparent environment.
From January till date, the FCT Command of the NSCDC has arrested over 120 persons suspected to have engaged in vandalizing public facilities and theft. Out of these numerous cases, the Corps has secured some court convictions, while some cases are still ongoing. My guest on the program is the FCT Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Mr. Olushola Odumosu. Mr. Olushola Odumosu, welcome again to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you for having me, Kela.
Let's talk about the FCT Command of the NSCDC this year, what would you say were some of the major challenges that were faced by your men this year?
Well, thank you very much. This year, 2024, has been eventful, very eventful, a year full of activities. If you've been following us, we've had back-to-back arrest of vandals in recent time, and this is because we are determined to rid the FCT of vandals and miscreants, those who are sabotaging the critical national asset and infrastructure, within the Federal Capital Territory. And that is our major mandate, as the lead agency in protection of critical national assets. And I think we are doing our best. As I speak with you, only yesterday we arrested 2 vandals that succeeded in taking down 2 streetlight poles. So you can understand in the Karimo axis, so you can understand the level, of how do I put it? Level of vandalism, what it has turned to, because when people easily cast aspersion on government, they don't understand that these are the ones that are making life, unbearable, and these are the things we have to do, because we have to sacrifice a lot of things. Most of these arrests that we talk about happen in the wee hours of the night, because that is it's very strategic time for them to strike.
Whenever we hear about these people cutting down street lights and things in the middle of the night, they always come up as very shocking. But, I want to be able to talk a little bit about one issue that you've raised, and I don't know what the update on it is, really. The Panteka market, because that is where they take these things to sell. If there was no place to sell these things, this business would not be thriving. What's being done about the Panteka market? The last time you were here, you said you were calling for some kind of regularization of the activities of the place. Some people have even said that the place should be shut down. What's the update on that?
Well, we're still calling, for the regulation of that Panteka market. Like I said, even some of the recent arrests we made, we are able to trace, the items vandalized and stolen to the Panteka markets. What's
delaying what you want?
It's not something that I have the power to do. We have to. It takes government to initiate a policy in that direction, or make a law in that direction. So ours is to propose and suggest it to government, because we are the ones on the field. Majority of these things, like we always say, if there is no ready market, these boys will not, be in business as it were. And like I told you, every arrest that we made, that exhibits are recovered, one way or the other, they have links with Panteka market. And that is why I particularly will not rest until we are able to let government see the need to, take this up, so that we can solve the problem. Because it's just like you're just finding the embers of vandalism when you don't do anything about the Panteka market. So I'm sure government will listen. We are taking it to another level, because now it has become very expedient for that to happen.
You've arrested a lot of people vandalizing. In many ways, you did keep to your threat. But the cases that are in court, because that's where your hand leaves, isn't it? You charge to court, and then the law has to take it. How has that process been going? Are you getting the convictions that you need? And most importantly, are you catching the kingpins?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this year alone, if we've not arrested vandals at all, we've arrested nothing less than 80 and above, right? And we'll keep doing that, because for as long as the criminals refuse to back down, we will continue to go after them. But one area that I personally am worried about is that, area of conviction. We put our energy into, even our lives into protecting this infrastructure. We go after the vandals. Many of them are dangerous. You know, they go about with dangerous weapons, like we already know. Now, due diligence is followed, investigation is carried out, and like I said, when you arrest the boys on the field, if you know your onions, definitely your investigation will lead you into the so-called big boys that are, sending those guys on errand. We've arrested a few of them. In one area that I will advocate for attention is the area of penalties and convictions. Many of these suspects, they get very ineffectual penalties, like
the penalties are not a strong enough deterrent.
They're not strong enough deterrent. In fact, there is a particular suspect that in the last 3 months we've arrested him twice. So what that means is that the penalty is not stiff enough to keep them off the streets. It's not stiff enough not strong enough to deter them from. So many of them they go there, they get penalties as low as 5,000 naira fine, sometimes 2,000, sometimes community service. You get the point. So it's very worrisome, and that is why we'll appeal to government to do something about this, because we need to be able to dish out some kind of punishment that will deter anybody from even attempting to go. But when you know that if you're arrested, there's only 2,000 you're going to pay, you pay the money as you go back to the streets. So that is an issue for concern.
And before we let you go, just your assessment of the FCT Command this year. How has it been, the performance of your office this year?
Well, within the ambit of the mandates given to us, we've tried our best, and we know our best may not be good enough because people will not see the efforts that you put in. People will not see the challenges you're going through. All they want to see is the results. How you get it does not matter. So within the limit of our resources, our ability, we've been able to at least justify our existence, in terms of protecting critical national assets in the FCT. And we will continue to do our best, especially now that the year is coming to an end. This is the time that you see increase, in criminal activities, because some people, all the money they have not made from January till December, they want to make it in 1 month. And a lot of people have plans, of making money, whether legit or illegit. So it shows that this period we need to be more vigilant, we need to be more determined, to make sure that we keep FCT safe. We don't have a choice and we can't compromise that.
I want to thank you, Mr. Odumosu, for being with us on the program. Thanks for always coming over whenever we ask you to be here.
Thank you.
And good luck with all the work you have ahead of you.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. The handles are showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.